The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Dani Laurel. Let's take a quick peek at the equity space. Kicking off with the U.S. markets, you can see quite the bump up here. The S&P 500 overnight up by 0.7%. The Nasdaq as well rallying by more than 1%. The gains over in Wall Street came as traders are betting that the U.S. Consumer Price Index will show some further softening. So that's due on Thursday. At the same time, dollar was around a 7-month low. And let's take a look at how Asia is following suit. Early in the morning, when I did check the open in the other markets like Australia and Japan, we did see the same similar rally that we did see over in Wall Street. The Nikkei 225 up by more than 1%. Over in Shanghai, as well as in Hong Kong, you are seeing quite some gains here. And let's take a quick peek at how we are opening. We are around 15 minutes into hump day trade, strengthening still at 67.57 spot or dot 48. That's really more or less flattish here. But if you take a look at how the past 3 days have been faring, not a bad deal here. We're up by 1 3/10%. We haven't actually been below 6,700 in quite a while. This comes as there's more comments here from both the central bank as well as the other members of the Financial Stability Coordination Committee, including our Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno. They did mention this, according to Governor Medalla of the Bangko Sentral, the need for the Philippines doing larger adjustments, meaning bigger rate hikes is no longer there. He did mention we will be looking at benchmark rate increases by 25 or 50 basis points. Meanwhile, the FSCC or the Financial Stability Coordination Council are still cautiously optimistic on the recovery of the Philippines. They're saying that the pandemic still has some momentum. We still have strong consumption here, and this echoes the sentiment of Finance Secretary Ben Diokno, who was on Bloomberg TV earlier this morning. We will try to run that interview later on. It was with Yvonne Mann, saying that the fourth quarter GDP growth will be at least 7.5%. He did mention that we can actually do another international bond issue. We just had a $3 billion bond sale, and he did mention that we have a room to transition to smaller rate hikes, with as well the Fed slowing down. Now let's take a quick peek at the movement of the stocks here. Especially when we look at some of the players, especially consumption, when we think about the rate hikes being lower. We did see one big player here, MPIC, which is the leader at the board, up by 3 6/10%, followed by GDCap and Aboitiz. So it seems to be a holdings company game this Wednesday morning. And on the downside, you've got, however, Meralco, which is also part of the same group, however, down by 1 8/10%. And finally, a peek at how we are faring when it comes to the peso. This, of course, where a lot of market moving things have happened. Guys, finally, we have broken below the 55 levels. We are trading at 54.990 to the greenback. Hopefully something worth celebrating. We are actually at a 6-month high. So you can see that, strengthening here, at least towards the end. This happened, of course, after we did price $3 billion worth of government bonds. And we did have a trade deficit that was wider, but nevertheless narrower than was expected. Now we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. I'm Danny Laurel. The national government raised $3 billion from its first US dollar bond issuance for 2023. Data from the Treasury show that the government sold $500 million worth of 5.5-year notes with a coupon rate of 4.625%. $1.25 billion were also raised from 10.5-year papers priced at 5%, while $1.25 billion worth of 25-year sustainability bonds were also sold. The three-tranche offering was launched on Monday, that's January 9th, at a size of at least $500 million each, and proceeds of the bonds will be used for general budget financing as well as financing or refinancing of assets in line with the government's framework for sustainable finance. Finance Chief Ben Diokno touted the figures, saying, quote, "The robust demand for the country's first international bond offering in 2023 represents, quote, a strong vote of confidence by international investors." Meralco will now proceed to negotiating the contract for its 200-megawatt baseload energy requirement. This as the unsolicited proposal of the Solar Philippine Batangas Baseload Corporation or SPBBC faced no dispute in the second round of competitive selection process. The SPBBC's offer involves a 20-year contract starting 2024 at 4 pesos and 65 centavos per kilowatt hour at 100% capacity factor. The contract capacity and guaranteed output will be sourced by the SPBBC from its 1,800 megawatt solar project, which is currently under development. Meanwhile, Meralco customers brace for higher electricity bills this month due to an increase in the generation charge and the completion of refunds. Households that consume 200 kilowatt hours would see their monthly bills increase by around 125 pesos, while those consuming 500 kilowatt hours will see an increase of over 300 pesos. Maynilad plans to spend 19 billion pesos in the next 5 years for new sewer lines. The water concessionaire said the 121-kilometer pipelines will be laid in 7 cities across Metro Manila. It will catch used water generated by over 2 million customers and will then be treated for proper discharge. Maynilad assured the public that it is in talks with affected LGUs to minimize inconvenience during the installation. China's economy has slumped as COVID cases have surged. More details in this report by Bloomberg Quick Take. Watch this.
The Chinese economy ended 2022 in a slump. Retail sales fell into contraction for the second time in the year, and business activity and industrial output was also slowing rapidly. The government has said that they want to increase consumption this year and boost private spending and also support the housing market, which is also contracting. But so far, apart from these broad statements of their goals, they've not put out any actual plans for how they're going to do that. The abrupt pivot from the COVID-0 restrictions at the end of November and early December allowed the virus to spread rapidly around the country, and that has stopped people from spending, stopping them from going out. The recovery of the economy really depends on how quickly the virus can spread across the country. If the vast majority of China is able to pass the peak of infections quickly, then the recovery in consumption will be brought forward, and we may see a pickup as soon as the second quarter of 2023.
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online, or visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now. That's at www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Danny Laurel. Join us again at 11:15 a.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time.